Dominican American Artists and Artisans in Boston, Broadening Our Images. When you think of Dominican Americans, who do you think of? We have an amazing group of people right here in the Boston area that I'd like to introduce you to. Their work is high quality and prolific. They reach deeply into the community, and their work is very important to us. Let's meet them, see how they started in their art, and what keeps them committed. A culture is made up of individuals. In this presentation, you will meet local Dominican American artists and artisans. Hector, a musician. Sylvia, a visual artist. Jose, a theater performer. Dennis, a government official. Hector, restaurant owners. Antonio, a museum educator. And Camilo, a gallery owner. Camilo Alvarez is the owner of Samson Gallery in the South End. His mission is for the gallery to act as an interdisciplinary laboratory for the convergence of film, video, performance, music, design, and visual art. In visiting Camilo, the way he spoke of his personal role of bridging the artist to the public by using these multiple modes reminded me of my own classroom. Camilo had a lot to share. He recently completed his Master's of Museum Studies at Harvard. The theme I discovered in his words were diversity, listening to his audience, and that we were one. Antonio Mendez is an artist, writer, and the educator, curator of the Jump into Kindergarten display at the Boston Children's Museum. Antonio shared about the importance of the arts in all of our lives, and especially the importance of being steeped in the superheroes of your own cultural upbringing. He says that if children are not hearing the stories, poems, and beliefs and the music of their people, we are doing a disservice to them. He says, just get exposed to everybody and then you can choose later what is right for you. You need to take care of your roots in order to grow properly. Sylvia Lopez Chavez is a visual artist and designer. Her work is extensive and community-driven. Sylvia also works long hours serving the patients at Boston Children's Hospital doing art therapy with them. When I asked her how has being Latina uniquely influenced her work, she talked about family values and not walking away until things were worked out. The ability to speak 2 languages has opened many doors for her and has helped her connect with many opportunities and networks. She also said that, as a Spanish-speaking brown woman who migrated from the DR, she has encountered many walls by way of language and cultural barriers, especially during her first years in Boston. She overcomes this by realizing that believing in oneself is a beautiful gift. We need to see ourselves as conquerors. I had the privilege of having Jose Moreno de los Santos in my chorus for the past 4 years and attending his performances of his musical theater group, where he has had a starring role for the past 2 years. He is the youngest candidate in this presentation. He is 14 and is starting high school this week. Jose said that age is a very important factor in his culture. If you are elderly, you are the wise one in the community. If you are a teen, it is the time in your life to give everything you have to focusing on your goals, because that is when you have the most energy. He told me it was important in his Latino community that you speak Spanish if you knew how to, or else you'd be looked at in a certain way if you didn't. This shows that you are proud of your heritage. Dennis Benzan is an attorney who has served as vice mayor and city councilor of Cambridge, being the first Latino to serve this role. He spoke about his service to the city and how his being elected opened the doors of City Hall to the Latino community giving voice to people who didn't have that opportunity prior. Dennis grew up in Cambridge and is a true force in the city, advocating for equal access to the economy through science, technology, engineering, arts, and math education, and job training for all citizens. Hector Pina is the owner of 3 very successful and popular restaurants, Merengues in Roxbury, Vigigantes in the South End, and now Doña Habana, that opened this week in Boston. His passion for community came across with so much heart during our conversation. He has connected thousands and thousands of people from different cultures and political views that typically wouldn't cross paths. When I asked him the common characteristics of Dominicans, he said baseball. Then he goes on to give some important advice to his fellow Latinos about voting and letting their voice be part of the larger community. Joel Rivas was the last artist I met with. He is a full-time designer at a company, and the other part of the duo in his performing group with his brother, the very popular duo Dos. We are listening to one of his songs now, Baila Perdida. Joel grew up playing music. Almost everyone in his family played and sang. He says he's not good at talking about himself, but he did share that he's a dedicated person, very respectful, hardworking, and very positive, and that he gets this from his upbringing. He says that Dominicans don't give up and find solutions for any problem they encounter. He shared about the songwriting process, and sometimes he begins with the melody and sometimes the lyrics. He can get an idea almost any time and has to be ready to write it down. This word cloud represents the themes of the artists, who they are, and a little idea of what I learned from them. Going into the lives of these artists by meeting with them face to face and listening to them speak on topics such as their background, what inspired their work, and how they contribute to their community has given me new knowledge and unique points of view that show the nuances of being born Dominican. There is not a single story of a group, but we will not know this until we dig in to get an inside view. I want to invite you to watch the videos that I've posted of each of the speakers sharing on these various themes.